Evidence that the Obamas knew this guy, but at this time, the idea that they used him to get Malia into school remains unfounded. All right, coming up for our final thought, we've got a breakdown and a reminder of which schools near that chemical fire will be open tomorrow. So if you're not sure, stick around.
Oh.
For a final thought, a reminder that students in LaPorte and Deer Park school districts will be returning to class tomorrow, though outdoor activities will likely be limited with that chemical fire burning nearby. Pasadena ISD has not sent us anything saying that they will not have class. They had school today, and it sounds like they will tomorrow. But again, classes likely to all be indoors with outside activity limited. So we'll keep you posted. Make sure to join us on the morning news for any updates on that. The Isaiah Factor Uncensored begins right now.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
It is 10:30 on a Monday night. Welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Hopefully you survived St. Patrick's Day. What about you, Petty Peavy? Did you celebrate? All right. We want to thank you guys for staying up late with us here on The Factor. First up on The Factor Uncensored, a raging chemical fire continues to burn tonight in LaPorte, and it could go on for at least another 2 days. The fire has reportedly been contained to 6 or 7 storage tanks, and despite the huge cloud of black smoke, officials say it's not likely to affect people's health. According to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, all detections were below levels that would represent a public health concern. If there are no significant weather changes, that shouldn't change. Joining us here to talk about this, emergency medicine specialist, Dr. Abdullah Kudrath from Angleton ER, and for legal matters concerning the fire, attorney Jason Rowe, because you know people will sue. They want their money, their bags, right?
They will sue.
But first, let's talk about the health issues. And for those who may have respiratory problems, who should be most concerned about this smoke and what's in it?
That's right, Isaiah. It is concerning. Now, currently, health officials are saying that the levels are not dangerous, but the fire is still going, and there's more and more smoke being put into the air. And some people are more sensitive to respiratory contaminants. So people who have a history of any type of respiratory disease, such as asthma, COPD, emphysema, these type of things, have to be more vigilant for the development of symptoms. If they develop any symptoms such as shortness of breath, cough, irritation, that's a sign that they should seek medical treatment.
What about women who may be pregnant and is there any way in order to avoid being exposed to it, like the little face mask that we see we can buy over the counter at various drugstores around Houston?
Mm-hmm. I mean, currently they're saying the levels aren't dangerous, but I think it would be a good practice to try to avoid being outside as much as you can. These masks may or may not help because sometimes these contaminants can be quite small, and without the special type of mask, it may not help as much.
And what about pregnant women? Are they more susceptible than anyone else?
They can be, but I think they should stay tuned to the public officials, and if they do issue a warning for evacuation or staying in place, then that should be listened to.
All right, Jason Rowe, attorney. We know there's only a matter of time before some attorney files a class action lawsuit on behalf of the residents there. When will we likely see that, and is the situation right for a possible lawsuit against this company, ITC?
I think it is right for the possible lawsuit. You're already starting to see law firms advertise, so I've already seen, if you do a Google search, you can already pull up for plant fires in Texas, and law firms are doing this already, and they've keyed in on Deer Park at this point. So they're already gearing up for these lawsuits. They'll be ready to go. I think it's probably going to be the next week or so. As soon as we get more information, we have a couple factors in place. So there was $200,000 in fines and penalties against this plant over the last 10 to 12 years. For failures to monitor air and water quality properly or contamination of property. One of the chemicals, toluene, which leaked into the water supply that they were fined for, is one of the chemicals that's now on fire and now being released into our atmosphere. That chemical is harmful to humans and aquatic life when it gets into the water supply. I think it's going to be inevitable. You're going to see some damages here. But when it comes down to it, people have to be able to show that their injuries were caused by the fire. And by these,
and that's key. First, you have to have injuries, not that you're just signing on to a lawsuit.
Right. You have to have injuries. You have to be able to show damages. I'm not saying go outside. Do not go outside and hang out. So many of the posts I see are people on Facebook or people in person where it's like, I walked outside today and I felt nauseous. Well, there's still a shelter in place, so it comes back to the old doctor joke. Sorry, but it comes back to the old joke. Doctor, it hurts when I move my knee like this, and the doctor's like, don't move your knee. There's a shelter in place. If you feel nauseous when you go outside, listen to the public officials. Don't go outside. Try to avoid those damages if you can, because what you're going to get may not be able to fully recover, or reimburse you for your damages.
Now, Doc, for those who are concerned about their health, what kind of symptoms, if any, should take them to the emergency room if they're exposed to it? Right now they're saying there shouldn't be any issues, but if they feel like they're facing some type of contaminant or it's in their system, should they go to the emergency room? Should they go to their family doctor? Where should they go in a situation like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's changing rapidly because, as we saw, it started with one chemical, the naphthalene, and then it moved on to other chemicals. But that puts into the atmosphere carbon monoxide, different things like that. Some of the symptoms they should look for are nonspecific. It could be headache, nausea, fatigue. But then, of course, if you see these symptoms and they start getting severe or shortness of breath, that's a sign that you should go to the emergency department, because we may want to work fast to try to figure out what your oxygen levels are and what we need to do to improve them.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on The Factor Uncensored and for your valuable information. Next up on The Factor Uncensored, the city of Houston has announced it's moving forward with implementing Proposition B. That means up to 500 firefighters and city workers could soon be laid off. The mayor's office says the city asked to implement the 29% raise over 5 years, but was refused by the Houston Professional Firefighters Association. As soon as May, the city says firefighters will be issued lump sum checks for back pay covering the raise for the period of January through the first part of May. Now, here to discuss this is Marty Langton, president of the Houston Professional Firefighters Association, and Houston City Councilman Michael Kubosh. Now, the city of Houston declined to send someone and offered up their press release. It says the city anticipates having to lay off about 400 to 500 firefighters and municipal employees because the city must give employees 60 days notice. Notification letters would go out the first part of April, while the city continues to find ways to balance the budget and minimize those layoffs. So, Marty, is this good news finally for the firefighters, or are you guys still pissed off about something?
Well, first of all, it's hard to keep up with the mayor's numbers, the mayor's talking points that seem to change every day. So let me put it this way. The mayor misrepresents the cost and the implementation of Proposition B almost as much as his six-figure international trade junkets and the contracts he gives to his political pay-to-play cronies. I mean, this is outrageous. The mayor is not only talking out of five sides of his mouth, but the information that he's putting out flies in the face of anything that is real and that is truthful.
No, where's the problem with the numbers now? Where don't they jive when you're talking about they don't match? Now, specifically, what are you talking about?
Specifically, I think 2 weeks ago when Councilmember Kubash, you and I were on, I think the mayor's number jumped to 113 million. Well, now I think it's 80 million. Councilmember, have you seen the numbers? Because I haven't seen the numbers.
No, I haven't seen the numbers, but when the voters voted for Prop B, I don't believe they ever had any intention, Isaiah, of seeing 400 to 500 firefighters being laid off as a result of the passing of Prop B. Mm-hmm. And it was 2 weeks ago that I found out from the city controller said that there's $397 million that the city spends through its mayor and departments that council never votes on. And so I've been digging through those. People have been sending those to me, and I'm somewhat shocked by what I'm finding. I'm concerned about transparency and that we need to know what's going on.
We don't want to spend too much time on that, but really quick, you're talking about stuff that's under $50,000 or payments from the city that's under $50,000. That's legal. That's legal. But you want to know where is it going and who's it going to.
Especially when I'm going to be voting on possibly laying off firefighters and city employees. I want to know, have we looked at everything? Have we turned over every bucket? Are we saving money everywhere we can before we start laying off these servants of the city who actually protect us in time of crisis?
Now, Marty, how are firefighters reacting to this, finally getting the word at about 7 o'clock tonight that you guys are moving forward with this pay raise? Are they glad to hear this? Are they glad the wait is over?
Well, listen, Isaiah, what the mayor put out is a lie. It's a categorical, unequivocal lie. The mayor has told you in the media in his press release that he's offered a 5-year proposal to implement Proposition B. That is an absolute categoric lie. At some point, somebody's going to call this mayor out.
I did see some emails between your attorney and the city's attorney.
The selected ones that the mayor's communications director.
But there was a 5-year plan that was
There
offered.
was not a 5-year plan to implement Prop B.
I recall seeing that. I absolutely recall seeing that.
I can tell you this, Isaiah. Not only do we have the documents to show you, but the Houston firefighters offered a 3-year proposal for the city that saves the city $120 million. Now, what the problem is that the mayor continues to not tell the truth. And what I can tell you is, I sat in the meetings, Isaiah. They specifically said that they were not going to implement the will of the voters Proposition B, and specifically failed to give us the financial data. And if you read the city's proposal, if the mayor's communications team actually selectively gave you the right ones, it shows that they tell you in the email that they're not going to implement the will of the voters actively. So I have the information. I've got the emails. I was there. The mayor wasn't. He's yet to show up to one day. And so he continues to put forward not only untruthful comments, but now he's trying to tell everybody, listen, we're going to implement something that we're told from the inside the mayor is actively misinterpreting Proposition B, and he is doing it so that firefighters, when he implements it, will then have to go back and file another lawsuit. And remember, the firefighters are 5-0 in court, and the mayor's 0-5. Stop playing games, Mayor.
Do you feel comfortable that the firefighters will get this? Because that's what the voters said. We want the firefighters to get their raise.
We're not comfortable with it. The mayor hasn't responded to our 3-year proposal. In fact, during the meeting...
Wait. So what's in the press release? What are we getting? What are you guys getting? If the mayor says we're going to give them their pay raise beginning in May, including back pay.
Well, he puts it at $31 million. Isaiah, right now today, by law, the firefighters are owed $38 million as of today. So tell me how it's $31 million as of May or June. Do you have the numbers? Has he provided the media with the numbers?
I ain't got the numbers.
Well, yeah, that's the problem, Isaiah.
But he
hasn't provided the numbers.
So you don't think you will even get this pay raise, Marty?
Well, what we're told from the inside is that the mayor is actively going to give one firefighter captain Proposition B, and he's actively going to give the same person with the same rank, you're going to get $0 from Proposition B. That's not the way it was written. That's not the way it's clearly defined, and that's not the way that the voters intended. And the mayor continues to play games. Just do the right thing, Mayor. Sit down and do what the citizens elect you to do, to lead and stop litigating.
All right. Well, I thought this was over with. It never ends. Thank you guys for coming on The Factor. Well, last week we heard from the people who wanted drag queens out of the public library system. In a few minutes, we hear from the other side. But first, we leave you with DJ Superstar.
Up in Sunnyside, Kim Brown with Kelly and Kelly and
with Kelly,
her daughter Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Last week, the Houston Public Library confirmed that someone who took part in Drag Queen Storytime last September has a criminal background. Now, the library apologized for the oversight and said the person will not be involved in any future programs. Meantime, the conservative group Mass Resistance held a protest calling for the city to end Drag Queen Storytime altogether. Here with a perspective of Drag Queen Storytime are Mike Webb, president of the Houston LGBT Political Caucus, and transgender activist Monica Roberts. So was this an opportunity for others who were against this program from the very beginning to say, I told you so, this is why it should not be in the public library?
It's no secret that populations and communities that are not necessarily liked by certain groups have always been targeted by people who encourage hate, and this is no exception to that. Black people were always historically seen as threats to, quite frankly, white women. And right now, Mass Resistance, as we're calling them, are using the LGBTQ community as a target, making us seem like we're a threat as well. This has nothing to do with their proclaimed interest in saving or protecting our kids. This is everything to do with the hate and bigotry that they're trying to promote.
Does this, Monica, hurt the program, Drag Queen Storytime? And do you see a long shelf life after this, or do you think the library will get skittish and pull the program, pull the plug and say, look, not here anymore?
No, I think actually it was a wake-up call to do vetting, to do better vetting.
And the thing that you said was the library should have done that.
Well, the library is already committed to not only reevaluating their process, but committing to make sure that this never happens again. And what we want to make sure is that the Drag Queen Storytime is being the solo program that's being looked at. We want all the programs that any volunteer participates in for the Houston Public Library to be properly reevaluated. Because again, this is not isolated to the LGBTQ community. This should be isolated. I mean, this should be important for all of the programs for the Houston Public Library.
Go ahead.
And the fact that mass resistance has basically been against a literacy program, which historically conservatives have had a problem with literacy. Why? Why are they attacking a literacy program that is becoming more popular because of their protests?
Now, that attack also happened in the courts, right? They filed a lawsuit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, that lawsuit that they filed back where it was literally thrown out of court by Judge Rosenthal. And because it was laughable on its face.
Just like now, there's no facts in it. It was no seriousness in it. All it was fear-mongering and hate-mongering, and the judge saw that herself.
And mass resistance has a long history from their founding in the state of Massachusetts, which, once again, we have out-of-town right-wing advocates trying to meddle in Houston business. And frankly, we're tired of it.
And of course, we want to let the viewers know we did have mass resistance here on Friday, and we thought it was appropriate to bring the other side on as well, since they put out a press release today. We had Tex Christopher on and some of the members of that group. So what's next now? What's next now?
We're going to continue to support Drag Queen Storytime. Drag Queen Storytime is so popular now that they have to move locations to accommodate more people, and that should show you how passionate Houstonians feel about making sure that their kids are exposed to inclusive and culturally significant cultural literacy programs that help, quite frankly, encourage kids to read. And who would be against encouraging kids to read?
Because we've noticed that also when I've been there for the Drag Queen Storytime, in support, I've noticed that kids come out of there carrying 3, 4, 5 books. So. Yeah, that's something that needs to be encouraged, not discouraged.
All right. Thank you, guys. Mike Webb, Monica Roberts, thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. So which area is more likely to see workers ripped off by their employers? We'll tell you when we come back, but first we'll leave you with Superstar.
Okay, I know.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Hundreds of workers in 137 zip codes across Houston are victims of labor abuse. Now, that's according to the Faith and Justice Worker Center, which says 768 workers have complained of wage theft, discrimination, health and safety violations, threats made in the workplace, and other infringements on a worker's rights. Abuses occurred anywhere from wealthy areas to working class neighborhoods. Here to discuss this is Marianela Acuna, Executive Director of Faith and Justice Work Center. Glad to have you here. So you guys took a look at some of the zip codes, some of the area codes of where we have employers essentially stealing from workers. So in what ways did they do that, steal from the employees?
Yeah, so about 2 weeks ago we were here and we talked about how $1.2 million were stolen from workers across the city of Houston. And that's about $3,600 per average on the claims.
That's a lot of money.
Which is a lot of money. That's about 494 hours if you're working a minimum wage job, which is like 3 months. It's a lot of money that people are getting stolen. But what we have been doing in the last 2 weeks is mapping out what's happening, where is it coming from, what are the neighborhoods that are most impacted by labor abuses.
And we have a map here. So tell us what we're looking at here.
What you're looking at, not only you see wage theft, but you also see discrimination, sexual harassment, injuries in the workplace, and it's all mapped out in the whole Houston metro area and beyond. And what we really found out through this data analysis is that it's happening everywhere in Houston. There's really only a couple pockets that are empty of labor abuse, but really there's people being abused at the workplace everywhere in Houston. So
what can people do if they realize their employers are taking advantage of them?
I think the most important thing that people can do is document what's happening at work. And I know that can be something painful because we don't want to necessarily repeat something awful that happened at work, but we want to have documentation of what's happening. So your hours, how much you're getting paid, as well as if there's any violence at the workplace, we want you to document that. And you can also call our number. It's 713-862-8222, and we encourage everyone to give us a call. And we've seen a pattern also of a lot of immigrant workers who are facing this as well. People who don't typically complain, and employers know that. Yeah, absolutely. I think we can also see it in the map that the places that are calling the most are, Sharpstown, Gulfton, the East End, Second Ward, and Spring Branch, and those are heavily populated areas by immigrants. But we also know that it's not only immigrants that this is happening to. It's happening to everybody, and it's happening because employers think that they can get away with it. They either think or they know that they can get away with stealing wages, sexually harassing, and yeah. So if you have a specific vulnerability, like you're a woman, you're an immigrant, it may be more likely that it happens to you, but it's really a community problem. If you really see it in the map, you can see that it's happening to basically everywhere in Houston. And next up, you're going to put the employers on blast by name. So we're looking forward to that. We want to thank you for coming on the Factor Uncensored. All righty. Thank you. We'll have more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. We leave you with DJ Superstar.